Now I had the time of my life, fucking underage rich girls in a resort. That's the truth. And the women used me. Yeah, right. Yeah. You believe that shit? I know I do. I most definitely do. Hey, everyone out there in YouTube land, welcome back. I am Diego. And today we are going to destroy, or I'm going to destroy, one of your favorite movies out there, okay? Dirty Dancing, okay? That piece of crap movie. I thought it was a piece of crap back then when it first came out, and I still think it's a piece of crap, okay? I know it launched Patrick Swayze's career. It threw it in the fucking atmosphere. Not so much for Jennifer Grey, even though she's the main character in this movie. It pretty much tanked her career. Well, that and the nose job. She got rid of that big fucking schnauzer of hers, which was her trademark. I mean, that was basically, you recognized her. I mean, that nose came in the room a good fucking 2 minutes before the rest of her did. Okay, but that was her trademark. Okay, when she got rid of that, nobody wanted to cast her anymore. You know, hey, I'm still the same girl. I just got my nose made smaller. You know, but yeah, that was her thing. You know, so you get rid of that. What do you got? Exactly. You know. So yeah, so she just shot herself in the foot there. But Patrick Swayze's career just got launched to the stratosphere when this movie came. And I remember very well. I was a kid back then. I'd never heard of Patrick Swayze before. I just remember my babysitter had a crush on him because he was on a fucking made-for-TV fucking miniseries called The North and the South. Yeah, that came out in the 80s. Okay, they made like 3 fucking sequels of that fucking thing. Anyway, I have every episode here on DVD. I have it here. Okay, but yeah, he played a guy in there named Ori Main. Okay, Ori Main. Okay, who was a Southern guy in the Confederacy. Yeah, slave owner too, but he was one of the nice ones. Yeah, right. Anyway, him and his best friend was from the North. Okay, and they were both wealthy, and they both went to West Point together, and then all of a sudden the Civil War breaks out, and they're on opposite sides of the spectrum here, you know, and they have to fight each other and shit. And there's a big fucking, everyone's fucking each other. He's got a slutty sister named Ashton, whatever the fuck. Yeah. Anyway, that's what happens in the fuck. I just condensed the whole fucking miniseries for you, okay? And if you don't know who fucking won that war, I don't know what's wrong with you, okay? But anyway, he was in that, and that kind of like raised his profile. He'd done some other stuff too. He was in Skate Town, USA. Hey, you remember that? Yeah, and of course you don't. Neither do I. Okay, of course I remember it, but I never saw it. No, fuck no. Okay, and then The Outsiders. But you know, I was a kid, and The Outsider, even though it's about a bunch of kids, you know, it's got Tom Cruise and pre Karate Kid Ralph Macchio, and it's got Rob Lowe, and it's even got fucking Matt Dillon in there, and it's got Emilio Estevez in there, you know, and it's even got fucking Leif Garrett in there. Remember him? I was made for dancing. I know. Yeah, that was before he fucking got into a car accident and crippled his dancer boyfriend. But that's another story. Okay, so anyway, so he was in that one, which was like basically a profile of the fucking 80s that were to come, The Outsiders. And C. Thomas Howell, yeah, he was the star of the fucking movie, and I forgot to mention that. Yeah, C. Thomas Howell, Soul Man himself. Yeah, that movie will never be made today. He was in that movie, and Patrick Swayze played the older brother or whatever in that. I didn't see that until I was much older, but I do know that he was in that, and then I found out later on, oh, a lot of people were in that, you know, in that movie. You know, even Diane Lane, you know, the woman who fucking cheats on her husband in every fucking movie she's in. Yeah, Superman's mom, Martha. Yeah, her. She was in that movie too. Well, her dad was a fucking actor. So anyway, you know, nepotism all the way. Anyway, so yeah, so that I'd heard of Patrick Swayze, but not really so much. Just the North and the South, because I remember my babysitter kept watching that miniseries every time it was on. She always babysitted us when that fucking miniseries was on. She was talking about him. Okay, so I kind of knew who he was, but I forgot about it pretty soon. When this movie came out, you couldn't get away from Patrick Swayze. For those of you kids out there, okay, I'm a Gen Xer. Okay, so I remember a lot of things from the '80s. I was a kid back then, and I do remember Patrick Swayze's rise to stardom. Okay, it started with this movie. It started with Dirty Dancing in 1987. Okay, you couldn't get away from Patrick Swayze. He was on all the fucking TV shows. He was on all the magazine covers. Like I said, his mom was fucking slinging fucking Swayze dancing video cassettes to buy. You know, you call in that number and you pay for it. You know, mail it in, whatever the fuck. Yeah, so there was a lot of people were making money off this shit. This soundtrack was always being played on MTV. It was always being played on the radio. You know, even the old songs from the '60s were being played on the radio again. Okay, because they made a resurgence. It brought back all those old songs, you know, like Be My Little Baby by the Ronettes, you know, Do You Love Me, you know, all sorts of fucking old fucking songs that were in this movie made a comeback as well because of this fucking movie, including the new songs like, you know, A Time of My Life, like that piece of shit. Well, okay, it's not that bad. I kind of like that song. Great ending, by the way, with that song. You know, Patrick Swayze also fucking sang a song in the fucking movie. She's Like the Wind. I feel a breath in my face. Somebody close to me. Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna sing the whole fucking song. No, I'm not. But yeah. So even he fucking sang some shit in this fucking soundtrack, okay? There's a lot of songs in this soundtrack, okay? It was a big hit. You know, it was like the Twilight franchise, but from the 80s, okay? You had the fucking old ladies that went to go see this movie to remember what it was like, you know, to be fucking a lot of guys in the fucking 60s, you know, and hearing those old songs. And then you had the young girls, who was really the target audience, was the young teeny bopper girls that I went to school with, okay, that were creaming all over fucking Patrick Swayze. They went over there to listen to the new songs that were mixed in the movie, because they mixed songs from the 80s in with the 60s, which was like, okay, movies have done it before. It kind of fucks up the tone. But it's even more fucked up when the people in the movie that's supposed to take place in the 60s start singing along with the fucking 80s song. Now it's like, okay, what the fuck am I watching now, okay? And that's the kind of shit they did like in First Night and in fucking The Great Gatsby, you know, the Leo DiCaprio one. Yeah, what the fuck, man? It's shit like that just takes me out of the fucking movie. But anyway, this movie was a big hit with ladies, not with guys. Like I said, I'd heard of it, but I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it until it was on cable a couple of years later. I think I watched it in 1989 or 1988, I think, was the first time I watched it. Okay, and I only watched it because my cousin was visiting us and she wanted to watch it. Yeah, she was around my age and she wanted to see Patrick Swayze. Oh my God. You know what? No one really talked about Jennifer Grey. You ever wonder how that works that way? You know, no one ever talks about the female lead. They always talk about the guy. They always talk about the fucking guy. Why the fuck is that? Last time I checked, you needed two people to be in a relationship, to be a couple. You know, everyone talked about Patrick Swayze. Nobody talked about Jennifer Grey. Okay, so she ain't the best looking girl. She's pretty. I ain't gonna say she's ugly. She's not ugly in this movie. She looks pretty good. She got a damn nice body. She's toned. You know, no fat anywhere. You know, and yeah, she got a big nose, but oh well, put a paper bag over it. Okay, hey, I give you a straight man's point of view. All right, I still do her. Just put a paper bag over it. What the fuck, you know? But everyone kept talking about Patrick Swayze like he was fucking God's gift, like he was the fucking second coming. You know, literally the second coming. You know, and I just like, what the fuck? Why is he getting all the attention? She's getting none of it. Last time I checked, she was actually in my personal opinion, I think Jennifer Grey was the better actor in this movie. She sold me on her character. She's 26 playing a fucking 17-year-old. Okay, and she sold me on it. She had the best acting in this movie that I've ever seen her do, better than fucking she did in Ferris Bueller. Okay, but Patrick Swayze was fucking horrible as far as acting goes. His acting was fucking bullshit. It was shit. He did better acting in Tu Wong Fu. You know, I mean, he did better acting in fucking Point Break and Donnie Darko and Ghost. In this movie, his fucking acting is shit. Okay, fucking Dalton from Roadhouse. He was better in that than he was in this. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from the dancing. The dancing was fucking incredible. I mean, Patrick Swayze, my God, that fucker knows how to fucking move on his feet, man. Well, I mean, his mom was a fucking dancer, was a professional. He was professionally trained since he was a little fucking toddler to dance. His mom was a professional ballet dancer, you know? Well, then again, so was Jennifer Grey's dad. But oh well. The point is that, I mean, Patrick Swayze really shone in this movie. He shined a lot, okay? His dancing skills were incredible. You know, his presence was really good. There's no way in fucking hell you're going to convince me he's 25. No, he looked like a 35-year-old in this movie. He looked like a 35-year-old. He did not look like a 25. Just because he has a fucking leather jacket, a t-shirt, and some sunglasses does not mean that he's fucking automatically 25. He's not. He looks older than that, okay? He does, okay? Now, Patrick Swayze himself, like I said, he'd done some movies. You know, he did Red Dawn, which I had not seen. I actually saw that later on, a couple years later. I saw Red Dawn. That was another movie with C. Thomas Howell. Okay, not the remake with Chris Hemsworth from fucking like 10 years ago. Okay, and Jennifer Grey was in that too. Holy shit! Yeah, that was like Dirty Dancing Part 1. Yeah, but anyway, so I'd heard about Patrick Swayze. This movie blew him up into the stratosphere. I mean, after he did this, he did like Next of Kin, he did Roadhouse, he did Ghost, which also blew him up again, you know. Then he did Point Break, you know, and then his career kind of stalled. He did Tu Wong Fu in the mid-90s, okay? That's like the fucking Citizen Kane of fucking the LGBTQ community, of the trans community at least. You know, I'm pretty sure fucking Dylan Mulvaney has seen that movie 500 fucking times, okay? Tu Wong Fu, you know, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. I saw it too. Yeah, fucking Gwyneth Paltrow's mom is in it. Of course I saw it. No. Okay, so this movie launched him to the stratosphere. Okay, not so much Jennifer Grey. Okay, the other actors in the movie, yeah, like Jerry Orbach played Baby's dad, Frank. He's a doctor, a rich Jewish doctor, but he's very stoic and stuff, and fucking Baby just adores her dad. She's basically a daddy's girl all the fucking way, which makes her sister Lisa jealous because she wants to be, her sister Lisa wants to be a daddy's girl. Okay. Well, the movie starts off with at this resort, okay, the Catskill Mountains, which I mentioned in the last video. Okay, a lot of Jewish families, okay, they would leave the city. They lived in New York and worked in New York, or even in Connecticut or Massachusetts or New Hampshire, which is all right next door to the Catskill Mountains. Okay, in upstate New York, they would go to the Catskill Mountains. It's all Jewish there. Okay, and they also had a lot of entertainment. They had bungalows there. It was a nice hotels. They would rent out these bungalows and they would provide entertainment, stand-up comedians, magicians, singers and shit. A lot of famous singers and actors and comedians and magicians made their mark in the Catskill Mountains. Okay, a lot of them did, like Milton Berle, Sid Caesar. These guys they made their mark in the Catskills. Okay, they used to do shows there all the fucking time. So did Woody Allen. Woody Allen did that too as a kid. A lot of famous singers were there. Eddie Fisher, Carrie Fisher's dad, married to Debbie Reynolds, and then fucking he dumped his wife Debbie Reynolds and abandoned his two kids to go fucking marry Liz Taylor, even though she dumped him for Richard Burton. But that's another story. But Eddie Fisher was a crooner, back in the day, and he used to perform there in the Catskill Mountains all the time. So it's very famous for that. They had a lot of fucking top talent, especially guys before they became really, really big. But it was a lot of old vaudeville guys started it up. A lot of Jew, like I said, heavily Jewish. Okay, and this would be their place to go. Now I did some research on this, and it turns out like around the 1970s, families stopped going to the Catskills. Jewish families quit going there. They started just like going to Europe and shit, or flying around. The air industry really took off. The airline industry, and they just started going to different places for vacations instead of just driving an hour north to stay in the fucking mountains in a bungalow. They decided to fucking go around the world and go to different cities and shit and travel. So when that happened, it pretty much killed the Catskill Mountains hotel industry. Okay, and by the 70s, they were pretty much they were on the decline. By the 80s, there was only a few left, and by the 90s, the last hotel in the Catskills had closed down. Okay, so yeah, they don't do that anymore. I wasn't for sure. I did some research on it, but yeah, so it's pretty much a dead industry now. But this movie takes place in 1963 when it was still up and coming, when it was still up and running. Okay, and basically this guy Frank, he's a doctor. He takes his family to the Catskill Mountains every year. Well, no, actually, this is the first time he's been on vacation in 6 years. His best friend Max Kellerman owns the hotel out there with all the bungalows and stuff. So he goes to visit him. Obviously, they're rich. Yeah, he brings his family there. Okay, and they take a couple of dancing lessons. They kind of they meet some of the people that work there and stuff. They meet Max's grandson, runs everything. His name's Neil. He's this fucking tiny little fucking short fucking twerp who likes to brag a lot. He likes to act like he's this big fucking man on campus and shit because his grandpa owns the whole fucking hotel. He likes to push his weight around. He treats people like shit, especially the hired help. They're all poor, non-Jewish people, and they get treated like shit, not just by him, but by his grandpa Max. Okay, they get no fucking respect. Their job is to kiss the ass of all the rich Jewish people that are in there, okay, and just to suck it up, all right? And they do it because they're fucking poor. They have no choice, okay? That includes all the entertainers, that includes the dancers and stuff. And now the waiters, on the other hand, the waiters that work there, they're all fucking Ivy League, okay, rich guys. This is a summer job for them. They don't need the money. They're just there to meet contacts, okay? And we meet one of those guys. His name is Robbie Gould, played by a guy named Max Kenter, okay? And Bobby Gould is like this evil fucking stuck-up asshole, just like Neil is, okay? And he's from an Ivy League school. He's going to Yale Medical School. So he doesn't need this fucking job. He's just there to meet people. And he meets Baby's dad, Frank, okay, who's a doctor. And he's kind of hoping that if he kisses their ass and maybe fucks one of his daughters, that Frank will write him a great letter of recommendation at medical school. So that's kind of what he's hoping for, okay? But he's this big fucking asshole. And we'll learn more about him later on. All right. So anyway, so Baby decides to take a walk by herself to just look around. She goes up to the main hotel. Okay, she walks away from her bungalow. Okay, and she catches Max Kellerman talking to the waiters. And Max Kellerman tells me, hey, listen, okay, your job here, okay, is you entertain my guests. Okay, you entertain the ladies that are here, all of them, even the dogs. Hey, he's not pulling any punches, just like I don't. Okay, even the dogs. You make sure they're satisfied. That's your job. I don't care what the fuck you got to do, romance. Show them the fucking stars if you have to. I don't give a fucking shit. He goes, romance them any way you want. You show these ladies a good time. You show their daughters a good time. Even the dogs. Romance them anywhere you want, okay? Now, after he's telling this to the waiters, including Robbie, then all of a sudden Johnny Castle gets introduced, okay? He's walking in there in his leather jacket. Yeah, he's the bad boy because he's got the leather jacket and the shades, you know, and the t-shirt on, okay? And he gets chastised by Mac. Oh, here comes the entertainment. Basically, the broke dick motherfuckers that work there because they have to, okay? He's a typical bad boy, Johnny Castle. Yeah, what a name, you know. I love that name, Johnny Castle. I'm surprised they didn't come up with a better name like Touch Connors or Rex Powers, you know, or Jock Butler. I like that one better. No, Johnny Castle. Yeah, right. Johnny Castle. I'm pretty sure fucking Eleanor Bergstein, who wrote this piece of shit, based on her own life experiences growing up and her dad, a doctor, taking her to the Catskill Mountains when she was a teenager. And I'm sure she fucked a lot of Johnny Castles, and she just amalgamated them all into this fucking Patrick Swayze guy. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Anyway, so he walks in there, okay, and he's late, of course, so Max Kellerman fucking chews his ass out, okay? He's part of the entertainment staff, okay? Max looks down on them all, okay, because they're all poor, you know? And Max says, like, you teach these girls how to dance, and that's it. No funny business. You keep your hands off. Only the rich guys that don't have to work here get to fuck the girls. You know, basically that's what he tells them, all right? And of course, you know, Baby, for the first time, well, actually, for the first time in this movie, once again, nobody notices what Baby's doing, okay? This happens throughout the entire fucking movie, okay? It's not the first time. This is the first time, okay? But it's not the last time, okay? Baby will notice something, have an emotional reaction. You can see what's going on with her by looking at her face, how she's reacting to whatever's going on emotionally, but nobody else fucking notices it. Not even people that are standing right fucking next to her. Not even people that are looking at her notice what she's noticing. Okay, and that's what's happening in this scene again. Once again, Baby is there with privileged information that she shouldn't be sitting in this thing, much less eavesdropping. But there she is, listening to everything that Max Kellerman says to the waiters about fucking all the girls, okay, that are staying there, and what he says to the entertainment staff about not fucking all the girls that are there. You just teach them how to dance, and that's it. You know, so she sees that. Nobody notices her. Nobody bumps into her. Hey, what are you doing here? Nobody, nothing. She's just standing there. You know, she's not even really hiding. She's just standing in the doorway and listening and watching, okay? And this happens all the fucking time in this movie, okay? She'll be having an emotional reaction, but the guy standing next to her, you know, won't notice it at all. Okay, which is bullshit. In real life, yes, ladies, in real life we notice this shit, but what do you expect, okay? You know, how are you gonna write a fucking straight guy when a woman can't really write a straight guy very well? Some women can, but not this one. This is fucking a teenage girl fucking jerk off fantasies. That's what this fucking movie is, okay? You grab your fucking vibrator and you jerk off when you're 15 years old, okay, to fucking Johnny Castle and having the time of your fucking life. This ain't fucking realistic, okay? This is fucking lollipop land, okay? Lolly fucking pop land, and I'm here to fucking call it out. That's what I do here. I give you a straight man's point of view. The real question is, can you handle it? Can you handle the truth? Yeah, I don't think you can. I'm sure I pissed off a lot of you just now, just by saying what I did, but it's true. It's fucking true, okay? Everything bends over for fucking Baby. What the fuck, man? Nobody puts Baby in the corner. Fuck you. Baby belongs in the fucking corner. Anyway, we'll get to that later, though. All right, so that's going on here. And Robbie, of course, does not like Johnny Castle. Why does Robbie not like Johnny Castle? Because he tells him some shit like, you know, hey, you think you can handle those simple instructions that Max told you about not touching the girls? You know, because he likes to touch the girls. That's why. Okay, he likes to fuck them and then pretend that he's not the father of the kid. You know, and Johnny's like, hey, you just worry about putting the pickle on the table. All right, let me handle the hard stuff. And he walks away. So obviously these two guys don't like each other. Now here's the thing. It's really sad. The person that plays Robbie, his name is Max Cantor. He's actually a journalist. He did a little bit of acting because his parents were in the theater industry. Okay, but he actually died at 32 years old. He died in 1991. Yeah, 4 years after this movie came out, he died from a heroin overdose. Yeah. Well, he was a journalist also. He mostly was a journalist. He only acted in 3 movies. This was one of them. But yeah, he actually was writing an article on how to fucking kick the fucking heroin habit by taking another drug, and he ended up dying of fucking a heroin overdose before he finished his article. Just sucks to be him, man. I think it's really sad, but yeah, just to let you know, that's why you never saw him again in other movies. Okay, he died of a heroin overdose. The actor, okay, Max Cantor died of a heroin overdose. Okay, but he was actually like much like Robbie Gould in this movie. He was also Ivy League educated. He went to Harvard, came from a rich Jewish family. You know, what the fuck are you doing taking heroin? You know, yeah, it's sad. Anyway, moving right along. So that's going on here. Okay, okay. Next thing we know, at dinner later that night, Max introduces Frank to Bobby Gould. Yeah, Bobby Gould officially introduces them to the family. Now, obviously, you know, Baby already knows who he is. She saw him already. She heard what he told Johnny Castle. Okay, and the first thing that Max tells him after he introduces Bobby to them, he's like, he's Yale Medical School. You know, he name drops that. Okay. So, of course, Frank, you know, being a fucking doctor himself, is kind of like, oh, okay, this guy looks, yeah, he's a young man going to medical school. You know, he's working in the fucking Catskills just like I did on my summers when I was in medical school. You know, my Ivy League medical school. You know, yeah, this kid is just like me at that age. Oh, my God, yeah, I think I'd be very happy to have him fucking my daughters. Pretty much, you know. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point. That's what Max was saying. Okay, it's like you guys are basically the dads here, okay, 20 years ago, okay? So they're going to want you to hook up with their daughters, okay? So you better fucking do it because I'll keep them coming here in more ways than one, if you know what I mean. All right, so that's going on here. Okay, and yeah, so that's going on. Okay, then Frank tells, now Frank, you know, Baby's dad, Frank, okay, played by Jerry Orbach, he has this habit of speaking for Baby, okay? He always volunteers Baby for shit. He doesn't let her talk. You know, I don't understand why she's so fucking crazy about her dad when he never lets her fucking speak, but he doesn't. He always speaks for her, okay? He doesn't let Baby say anything about herself. He always tells people about Baby while Baby's sitting right next to him, okay? And she's just fucking quiet, letting her dad speak on her behalf, okay? That happens a lot in this movie, all right? And so, of course, Frank tells Max, like, hey, Baby's going to change the world. Yeah, you know, whatever the fuck that means. Well, Baby has this fucking dream about joining the Peace Corps, okay? She wants to join the fucking Peace Corps and change the whole fucking world. All right, whatever. You do you, okay? Okay, so we meet, at this time that we meet Max's grandson, Neil, who I already told you about, the snivy little short Jewish guy with the big nose, who likes to boss everyone around, likes to brag to everyone about how, you know, once his grandpa dies, he's going to inherit the whole fucking, the whole Catskill Mountain Resort is going to belong to him, you know, and that kind of shit, you know. And of course, what does Max do after he introduces them? He tells them where he's going to school. Hey, he's going to Cornell School of, what is it? The Cornell School of Hotel Management. Yeah. So here's another guy to fucking to spring on Frank. So Frank will be like, okay, let's see, we got a Yale Medical School waiter, and then we got a fucking intern who's going to fucking Cornell School of Food and Beverage. Yeah, here's two fucking Jewish guys, perfect, going to Ivy League schools, perfect to fuck my daughters, absolutely. You see what's going on here? That's exactly what Max wants. That's what he wants, okay? But obviously, Baby's not attracted to this guy. She's taller than him, number one. He's a short, little, skinny guy. He's always fucking talking, you know? He brags all the fucking time, you know? He's just he's a little fucking shit. He's a little fucking pee hole is what he is, all right? Anyway, his name is Neil Kellerman, all right? And yeah, so that's going on. And then Frank, of course, speaks for Baby again and tells her, oh, yeah, well, Baby here is going to Mount Holyoke in the fall. Okay, which kind of, if you look at Baby's face, once again, nobody notices Baby, okay, at all. She's there, okay, but Baby's obviously frustrated and annoyed that her dad speaks on her behalf. You can see it on her face. It's plain as day. It's obvious. It's rude. You know, you can tell that she doesn't like it. She's never liked it. Okay, but once again, absolutely nobody is paying attention to Baby. Okay, now I can understand that happened a couple of times, but come on, this is your fucking daughter. Someone needs to notice this, okay? Someone at that table should have looked at Baby's face when her dad said that, and at least talked to her later and said, like, hey, listen, you don't like it when Dad speaks on your behalf, do you? You know, because then she would tell you, no, I don't. I hate it when Dad speaks on my behalf. He doesn't let me speak. He just speaks for me. You know, you could tell. Okay, that's what normally realistically would happen, but no, not in this scene, and not in any of the scenes, honestly. Baby's entire plot device for this movie, her entire injection into the fucking plot of the story is based on that. Is based on nobody realizing that Baby is there. So because nobody pays attention to Baby, she fucking gets into the middle of the fucking story. She injects herself into the fucking drama, okay? That's how she makes her way into this fucking world that she has no business knowing anything about. Okay? Nobody pays attention to her. You know? And because of that, she just goes in wherever she normally would not be able to go in. Okay? She learns things that she normally would never learn. Okay, and she goes into places that she normally would never be allowed to get into. Okay, so yeah, it happens throughout the entire fucking movie. Nobody ever pays attention to Baby. If just one fucker just looked at her and been like, oh wait a minute, I think something's wrong with Baby, you know, or told her that, hey, are you okay? What are you upset about, or something like that? Then this movie would never exist. But nobody does that. Okay, that allows Baby to fucking basically walk around like she's invisible, you know, and see things and do things that she normally wouldn't. Okay, so even when people are talking to her, they don't notice the look on her face. You know, and it's fucking stupid. Okay, and this happens throughout the entire fucking movie. Okay, that's bad screen. I don't know if that's bad acting or bad screenwriting, but the director, fucking Emil, wherever the fuck his name is, I don't even remember his name. Emil Ardolino, the guy that directed this, he also directed Sister Act. Okay, yeah, he didn't. I guess this was his direction. He didn't mind, or he didn't notice it when he was fucking filming the movie. But it's really annoying after a while. I can understand, you know, sometimes people not noticing the girl, what they're doing, what they're thinking. Okay, but you can't do this every fucking time. Someone's gonna have to pay attention to her eventually. Okay, isn't that the point of falling in love? Is you pay attention to the person that you're with? You know, well, that doesn't happen in this movie. Okay. Okay, and that's not even the worst part. I haven't even gotten to the worst parts of this movie yet. All right, so that's going on. All right. Later on, she's forced to dance, or she feels obligated. She has to dance with this asshole Neil. So later on, they're dancing in the dance floor. Okay, and you know they both can't dance very well. Obviously, again, like I said, there's a big difference between the sizes. This Neil guy is really short. I think she's actually a little bit shorter than Baby is here. Okay, but they're forced to dance together. Okay, later, she tells him, he asks her, so what are you going to school for? Are you going to major in literature, you know, or English, you know? And she says, no, I'm going to major in the economics of underdeveloped countries. So she's an activist. And she's going to join the Peace Corps. Okay, hey, you do you. That's what you want. You do you, okay? So she's going to join the Peace Corps, right? Okay, and then all of a sudden we see the band leader, the guy that's in charge of all the music there. He's a black guy named Tito Suarez. He's an older black man. Okay, and obviously he's Cuban. Okay, and he starts doing this little tap dance and waving his conductor wand around. Okay, and then there's Max Kellerman, the owner. He's there going with this fucking weird look on his face. And then he starts tap dancing too with Tito Suarez. So they start doing this duet together, dancing together, tap dancing together. Like I said, Max Kellerman, he's an old fucking guy in his 60s, or maybe his 50s, and he's fat, you know, and he's old, you know, and I told you he was probably in vaudeville. I'm pretty sure he was in vaudeville before he bought this hotel. Yeah, he's basically re-experiencing his youth here, showing everyone that he can still dance, he can still perform in vaudeville, all right? So that's going on. And then Max joins in on the dance, okay? And then we're introduced again to Johnny and Penny for the first time, okay? We meet Penny. Well, no, we saw Penny earlier. She was teaching the Mambo class that everybody fucking sucked at. But now Johnny and Penny show up now. Now Penny, played by Cynthia Rhodes, who is a professional dancer in real life, okay? She's wearing a red dress, and Johnny's wearing a tuxedo, okay? With a tight vest, you know, bow tie, the whole fucking works, okay? The tight pants, all that kind of shit, you know? Okay, and they do a Mambo dance. Okay, for the whole crowd. Now, everyone's allowed to dance on the dance floor, but everyone basically breaks away and allows these two people to dance. And oh my fucking God, do they dance up a storm. Okay, this one thing I can definitely say about Patrick Swayze, the fucker knows how to dance. The fucker can dance, and so can Cynthia Rhodes. You know, I don't understand why her career didn't fucking blow up after this as well. Why was it only Patrick Swayze's career that blew up after this, okay? Yeah, I know it's a chick flick, and the girls are mostly paying attention to him. They're not paying attention to the other girls in this movie, okay? But I'm a guy, all right, and I am paying attention to the other girls in this movie, okay? And Cynthia Rhodes, I mean, not only is she beautiful, that bitch can fucking dance. She can dance, and she does these splits. She kicks her leg up, and obviously she can do the splits. And she kicks her legs up in the air and shit, just incredible. The timing, I know, I've taken dance lessons myself. I'm a pretty good dancer as well. I'm nowhere near as good as these guys. Okay, these guys are pros, all right? And looking at them move in harmony like that, you know, all timed, you know, choreographed perfectly. Oh my God, dude, it made me feel jealous. I wish I could dance like that good. I wish I could do that kind of shit. You know, these guys are super fucking talented. Super fucking talented. Okay, Cynthia Rhodes and Patrick Swayze, incredible. The performance they put on here is incredible. All right, just watching this dance alone was like, wow, these guys know what they're fucking doing, you know. And it's true. And Patrick Swayze was a trained dancer for his whole life. Like I said, his mom owned a ballet studio. He grew up in Houston, Texas. Okay, and he was a fucking he was taught to dance at a very young age, you know. So yeah, so they're both very talented. Now I read Patrick Swayze's autobiography before he passed away. I read it. Okay, and he talks about there how he grew up in Houston, Texas. He liked to ride horses and shit like that. He played football. He also danced at his mom's studio, but he had a knee injury in football, which prevented him from going to college on a football scholarship. So he got into dancing. He actually worked in the Walt Disney the skating, you know, Disney on Ice. He did that for a long time with his wife. And he said, and he was the only straight guy there. Well, I know what that's like. I did theater. I know exactly what that's like. You know, he was the only straight guy there. But he had so much pain from his injuries that his knee would swell up with liquid, and every night he'd have to drain it. He'd have to drain his knee from all the fluid. You know, so he suffered for his art. But yeah, the guy could dance. The guy could ice skate. You know, he did a lot of shit like roller skate too. You know, that was the thing back in the late '70s, y'all. There was no rollerblades yet. It was roller skates, and that's how he got the job in Skate Town, USA. And then later on, he got The Outsiders and shit. His career took off. But this movie really highlighted his dancing skills because that's really what they hired him for, to be a great dancer. You know, his acting's not that great in this movie. Not in this movie. In other movies, yeah, I think so. But in this movie, not so much. No, I don't believe anything he fucking says. Okay, he doesn't. You know, I think he was forced to read those words. You know, he's a new guy. He's a new up and comer. He has no say to the director about what he can and cannot say. You know, so I think he was forced to read those words, and that his performance acting suffered, but not his dancing. His dancing is fucking incredible, on point. And so was Cynthia Rhodes. You know, I can't believe she fucking married, what's his name? Richard Marx, the fucking singer, the one guy who won't give up until he's satisfied. Yeah, that guy. You know, yeah. Yeah, Cynthia Rhodes. I mean, she was beautiful. Oh my God, she was beautiful. And he left her. Richard Marx left her for a younger hottie toddy. Yeah, hey, that's what happens. That's what happens, okay? But I remember Cynthia Rhodes from, she was in Flashdance. And she was also in the sequel to Saturday Night Fever. That's right, Staying Alive. She played John Travolta's love interest in Staying Alive. Yes, Tony Manero. That was his girlfriend, and then he cheats on her with Finola Hughes from fucking General Hospital, I think. Yeah, and then, you know, she finds out that she's a bitch, and then he takes her back, and she forgives him. But yeah, that's why I remember her from, Cynthia Rhodes. She was from Staying Alive, the sequel to Saturday Night Fever, which was absolutely horrible. It was directed by Sylvester Stallone. A dancing movie directed by Sylvester Stallone. Not a boxing movie, a dancing movie directed by Sylvester Stallone. Okay, yeah, she was in that, and then she was in Flashdance, and then she was in this. And I think that's all I've seen her in, yeah. Anyway, moving right along, but she's incredible in that scene, all right? So the dancing is on point, everything's great with that, okay? And clearly, Neil gets all pissed off while he's there with Baby. He's like, oh my God, those guys are, why are those guys showing off for themselves? Okay, nobody's gonna want to buy dancing lessons if they keep doing that. You know, so basically he's saying, yeah, you're not supposed to dance that great, okay? Because no matter how much you teach our guests here, most of them are fucking middle-aged. They're not gonna be able to do this shit that you're doing right now, you know. But the whole point of you dancing, the reason we hired you is to sell fucking dancing lessons, okay? And no one's gonna buy dancing lessons if they already know there's no way in fucking hell they're ever gonna be able to do some of the shit that they're doing on the floor, on the dance floor right now. Okay, so Neil gets pissed off, which means he's completely oblivious to Baby, who's basically staring at Johnny Castle's ass the way she would a fucking cheeseburger. Okay? I mean, she's just fucking looking at him like she wants to fucking eat his ass. That's the look on her face. She's like, yeah, just like that. Okay, looking at Patrick Swayze's fucking rump. Yeah, that's what's going on here. Of course, Neil, even though he's standing right there, he doesn't notice it at all. He's just into his own fucking, I'm a bullshit fucking plot device world. All right? Once again, nobody's paying attention to Baby, even though he's standing right fucking next to her. All right? So anyway, so that's going on here. Okay. You know, the showboating, you know, even Max Kellerman gets pissed off. He sees how well fucking Johnny and what's her name? And Patty? Was that her name? Penny. Johnny and Penny are dancing. Max Kellerman's like, cut that shit out. You know? So what they do is they break up and they start dancing with the guests, which was the whole point of this whole dance routine, was to start interacting with the guests, to get them to fucking buy dance lessons, all right? So then they split apart and they start dancing with the old people, you know. Patrick Swayze starts dancing with the old ladies, and Penny starts dancing with the old men and shit like that, you know, just to get them going, you know. So that's going on, okay? And Neil tells them that he has to go fucking work on a magic show or something. He's got to go fucking find somebody for the magic show. And of course, Frank volunteers Baby to go help him out. Okay, just the way my mom volunteered me to be a fucking altar boy in Catholic in fucking mass, I didn't want to fucking do it. But anyway, so that happens. So the next thing you know, there's Baby sitting there getting sawed in half by some fucking magician in front of a crowd. And the look on her face, once again, nobody notices Baby, or the look on her face, once again. Okay, obviously she's not having a good time. She doesn't want to be, she feels embarrassed. But they saw her in half, whatever. After the applause and she walks off the stage, they give her a fucking chicken. They give her a fucking chicken as a parting gift or something. I want to know what happened to the fucking chicken. I don't know. All right. But then you see Wayne Knight there. He was helping out the fucking, he was helping out the magician. Wayne Knight, you remember Newman from fucking, Newman from Seinfeld. He's there and he's doing a stand-up comedy routine. He makes this great fucking joke. He's like, oh my God, the other day I met this woman. I met this girl who's just like my mom, looks just like her, dresses just like her, talks just like her. I brought her home to meet my dad. He didn't like her. Which was, I guess it was a funny joke in 1963. But anyway, it's there. It's there. Okay, I'm going to stop my review right here, but I'll be back shortly to continue my review of Dirty Dancing from 1987. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.